My name is Dr. Scott Bolland. My background is in cognitive science, which is the scientific study of how the mind works. And I guess from my perspective, my question around education is, if the role of education is to skill up children to flourish in the real world, are we doing a particularly good job, and what should we be doing better? And I think if you look at positive psychology, there's a number of variables that are associated with flourishing and well-being that aren't being taught in school. So we have, for example, depression rates are at epidemic proportion. In Australia, the number one killer of individuals aged between 15 and 44 is suicide, for example. 2/3 of marriages are ending in divorce. So in terms of skilling up children for the real world, we're doing a remarkably unremarkable job. So in terms of looking at the education system, the obvious questions are looking at how to teach, but also what to teach. And this is what I'm talking about in my talk, which is the role of AI in how we teach, but also positive psychology in what we teach. So the book really goes into both of these topics. So in terms of how we teach, it goes into the AI side of things in terms of what are the latest technologies that we can be using in the classroom, and then what to teach. It talks about positive psychology and how we flip the classroom so AI is not replacing the teacher, but teaching the fundamentals. So when they come to class, they can be practicing, teamwork, social skills, engaging activities. If that makes sense. So answering the question, if I knew science, what are the cool things I could do? If I knew music, what are the cool things I can be doing? So it's really about what can I do if I knew these topics. What I talk about in my research is where that statistic comes from. And if you actually look at how the brain is wired, it's quite interesting. The highest proportion of endorphin receptors are actually found in the learning centers of the brain. We're actually hardwired to find learning enjoyable, but there's a catch. So endorphins are only released when we get information on the periphery of our knowledge. So things that are too familiar or boring, things that are too unfamiliar or aversive, it's only when we get information on the periphery of our knowledge that we get an endorphin hit and a dopamine hit, making, education rewarding and addictive. So in a classroom, when you've got 30 kids and the teacher is setting the pace, you have some students that are ahead and completely bored, others behind, hating the environment. Very few students are getting the right information at the right time. So that's where we can really start thinking about how do we change the classroom. We need personalised learning, but that's really hard for a teacher to do, and that's where the benefits of AI come into play. The bright idea is that we need to better personalise education. So we need to stop thinking as the teacher being the sage on the stage, just telling people what to do. It has to be the guide by the side, taking everybody on a personalised journey. So for me, education is what they say, the kindling of the flame rather than the filling of the vessel. We need the teacher to actually care about the students, take them each on a personalised learning journey. And that's a real challenge.